Peacemaker is an American superhero television series created by James Gunn for the streaming service HBO Max, based on the DC Comics character Peacemaker. It is the first DC Extended Universe television series and a spin-off from the 2021 film The Suicide Squad. Set after the events of the film, the series further explores jingoistic killer Christopher Smith/Peacemaker. It is produced by the Safran Company and Troll Court Entertainment in association with Warner Bros. Television, with Gunn serving as showrunner. John Cena stars as the title character, reprising his role from The Suicide Squad, with Danielle Brooks, Freddie Stroma, Chikwudi Iwuji, Jennifer Holland, Steve Agee, and Robert Patrick also starring. Gunn conceived Peacemaker after noting Cena's strength as a dramatic actor while filming The Suicide Squad, and wrote all 8 episodes while completing the film during the COVID-19 pandemic. HBO Max ordered Peacemaker straight to series in September 2020, and additional casting took place over the following months. Filming began in Vancouver, Canada, in January 2021, with Gunn directing 5 episodes. Production ended in July. Gunn chose to use hair metal songs for the series' soundtrack, including Do Ya Wanna Taste It by Wigwam for the opening titles. The title sequence features the series cast performing a choreographed dance number. Peacemaker premiered on HBO Max on January 13, 2022, with its first 3 episodes. The rest of the series was released weekly until February 17. Each episode received higher viewership than the last, with the season finale breaking the record for highest single-day viewership of an HBO Max original episode. The series has received positive reviews, with praise going to Cena's performance and Gunn's directing and writing. A second season was ordered in February 2022, with Gunn set to write and direct all episodes. Additionally, several other The Suicide Squad spin-off series featuring characters from the film and Peacemaker are in development. Premise: after a money laundering scheme for a Mexican drug cartel goes wrong, financial advisor Marty Byrde proposes to make amends by offering to set up a bigger laundering operation in the Lake of the Ozarks region of central Missouri. Marty suddenly moves his family from the Chicago suburb of Naperville to the remote summer resort community of Osage Beach, Missouri. When the Byrdes arrive in Missouri, they become entangled with local criminals, including the Langmore and Snell families, and later the Kansas City Mafia. Cast and characters. Main. Jason Bateman as Marty Byrde, a self-employed financial advisor based in Chicago in 2007, when he and his business partner begin to launder money for a Mexican drug cartel. Laura Linney as Wendy Byrde, Marty's wife, and a public relations operative for political campaigns. She becomes an advance person and stager for a local realtor, and then a lobbyist for Marty's proposal to build a casino. Sophia Hublitz as Charlotte Byrde, Marty, and Wendy's daughter. Skyla Gertner as Jonah Byrde, Marty, and Wendy's adolescent son. Julia Garner as Ruth Langmore, a young woman who is part of a local criminal family. Jordana Spiro as Rachel Garrison, owner of the Blue Cat Lodge and Bar and Marty's reluctant business partner. Jason Butler Harner as Roy Petty, an FBI agent investigating Marty. Isai Morales as Camino del Rio, a lieutenant for Mexico's Navarro drug cartel. Peter Mullen as Jacob Snell, an established local heroin producer and the area's crime boss. Lisa Emery as Darlene Snell, Jacob's wife and partner in the heroin business. Charlie Tayan as Wyatt Langmore, Russ's elder son and Ruth's cousin. Janet McTeer as Helen Pierce, a Chicago-based attorney who represents the Navarro cartel. Tom Pelfrey as Ben Davis, Wendy's brother who has bipolar disorder. Jessica Francis Dukes as Maya Miller, an FBI forensic accountant investigating the Byrdes casino business. Felix Solis as Omar Navarro, the leader of the Mexican drug cartel for whom the Byrdes are laundering money. Damian Young as Jim Rattlesdorf, a wealthy lawyer and Wilkes' right-hand man who becomes an ally of the Byrds. Alfonso Herrera as Javier Javi Elizondo, Navarro's hot-headed nephew and lieutenant for his cartel. Adam Rothenberg as Mel Saddam, a disgraced former cop turned private investigator. Recurring. Carson Holmes as Three Langmore, Russ's younger son, Wyatt's brother, and Ruth's cousin. McKinley Belcher III as Trevor Evans, an FBI agent and Petty's ex-lover. Robert Treviler as Sheriff John Nix, who is indebted to the Snells. Kevin L. Johnson as Sam Dermody, a real estate agent in the Ozarks. Evan George Varaziris as Tuck, employee at the Blue Cat and Jonah's first friend in the Ozarks. Trevor Long as Cade Langmore, Ruth's father and brother of Russ and Boyd. Michael Mosley as Pastor Mason Young. Harris Yulin as Buddy Deeker, the Byrds' terminally ill tenant. Michael Turek as Ash, an enforcer for the Snells. Mark Menchaca as Russ Langmore, Wyatt and Three's father, Ruth's uncle, Boyd and Cade's brother and Petty's lover. Josh Randall as Bruce Liddell, Marty's Chicago business partner. Christopher James Baker as Boyd Langmore, Ruth, Wyatt and Three's uncle and Russ and Cade's brother. Adam Boyer as Bobby Dean, owner of the Lickety Split Strip Club. Bethany Ann Lind as Grace Young, Pastor Mason Young's pregnant wife. Sharon Blackwood as Eugenia Dermody, Sam's controlling, overbearing mother who works for her son's real estate business. Joseph Melendez as Garcia, an enforcer for Dell. Darren Goldstein as Charles Wilkes, a wealthy businessman and political donor. Nelson Bonilla as Nelson, Helen's enforcer. Tess Kincaid as Hannah Clay, an FBI special agent in charge overseeing the Navarro cartel case. Melissa St. Amand as Jade, a stripper who forms a relationship with Sam. Pedro Lopez as Jorge Mendoza, a member of the Navarro cartel. John Bedford Lloyd as Frank Cosgrove, trucking company owner and leader of the Kansas City Mafia. Joseph Sikora as Frank Cosgrove Jr., son of Frank Cosgrove and Kansas City Mafia member. Mary Louise Burke as Sue Shelby, the Byrds' therapist. Madison Thompson as Aaron Pierce, Helen's daughter. Bruno Biger as Father Benitez, Navarro's priest. Katrina Lenk as Claire Shaw, CEO of Shaw Medical, a prominent Chicago-based pharmaceutical company owned by her family. C.C. Castillo as Sheriff Lee Guerrero, the acting sheriff in the Ozarks. Eric Ladine as Carrie Stone, a celebrity chef and high roller at the Missouri Belle who is acquaintances with Ruth. Bruce Davison as Randall Schaefer, a retired Republican senator with whom Wendy has crossed paths. Richard Thomas as Nathan Davis, Wendy's estranged father. Glenn Morshower as FBI Executive Assistant Director Graves. Ali Stroker as Charles Ann, an old friend of Ruth's mother. Veronica Falcon as Camilla Elizondo, Navarro's sister, and JV's mother. Jane McNeil as Annalise, Nathan's girlfriend, and a member of his congregation. Brad Carter as Sheriff Ronnie Wyckoff, Guerrero's replacement as acting sheriff. Production. Development. Ozark is set at a modest waterfront resort at Lake of the Ozarks, inspired by the Alhana Resort and Marina, where series creator Dubuque worked as a dockhand while attending college in Missouri during the 1980s. Jason Bateman was supposed to be the sole director for the first season, but because the schedule did not enable him to have enough preparation time, he directed only the first 2 and last 2 episodes. To make Ozark as realistic and sensible as possible when it comes to depicting money laundering, the writers for the series brought in an FBI agent who works on financial crimes into the writer's room. They also brought in a hedge fund manager, for information about moving large sums of money. Beam Solutions, a financial compliance software company, considered the series' accuracy to be both plausible and very creative. The series was renewed for a 10-episode second season on August 15, 2017. On October 10, 2018, the series was renewed for a 10-episode third season. On June 30, 2020, Netflix renewed the series for its fourth and final season, which consists of 14 episodes split into two parts. The first part of the fourth and final season was released on January 21, 2022. The second part of the final season premiered on April 29, 2022. Opening credits. Graphic designer Fred Davis created a white letter O, which is featured on a black background at the beginning of each episode. Within the quartered circle of the O are 4 symbols which foreshadow the main plot points in that episode. Additionally, each of these hand-drawn symbolic images are formed to represent the remaining letters in Ozark. For example, for Episode 1, a kneeling man represents Z, a building represents A gun represents R, and a falling man represents K. Filming. Most of the shooting locations are in the Atlanta area at Lake Allatoona and Lake Lanier, rather than at the Lake of the Ozarks, because of tax breaks offered by the state of Georgia. The film crew constructed a set in Georgia after extensively studying the Al-Hana Resort property. Some scenes are filmed at Chicago locations. The series has also filmed in Georgia locations such as Berkeley Lake, Stone Mountain, Savannah, Norcross, Johns Creek, and Peachtree Corners. The cinematography was primarily handled by Ben Cutchins for the first 3 seasons. The series was initially filmed with the Panasonic VariCam, and later switched to the Sony Venice for Season 3 onwards. The series is known for its distinctive color grading, which is characterized by heavy blue hues, dim lighting, and deep shadows. Cutchins explained that the cinematography is intended to engage audiences to around the frame to see what's lurking in the shadows. From the 3rd season onward, the series' visual style was brightened and its color palette expanded to reflect the prominent new settings of the casino and Navarro's estate. Filming for the 4th season began on November 9, 2020, and concluded on October 8, 2021. Episodes. Season 1. Season 2. Season 3. Season 4. Reception. Season 1. On Rotten Tomatoes, the first season has an approval rating of 70% based on 69 reviews, with an average rating of 6.8/10. The website's critics' consensus read, "Ozark hasn't yet reached the same level as the classic crime dramas to which it will inevitably be compared, but its satisfyingly complex plot and a gripping performance from Jason Bateman suggest greater potential." On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 66 out of 100, based on 29 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Brian Lowry of CNN wrote, "While the fish-out-of-water concept is one of TV's oldest, Ozark carves out its own path with clever twists, including a late-in-the-run flashback explaining how the cartel came into his life and the sheer strength of the performances." TV critic Sonia Surya of Variety wrote that Ozark is smart, well-crafted, and says something, and that the series comes together under Bateman's disarming and deceptively complex performance as Marty. Tim Dowling of The Guardian wrote Laura Linney is, as ever, magnificent. Alan Sepinwall of Upros was critical of the series' lack of humor and failure to distinguish itself enough from numerous other contemporary shows about anti-heroes, stating that your show needs something special to be worth the bother, particularly when too many shows are demanding too much patience from their viewers, with not enough reward, and Ozark doesn't really deliver the goods. Despite Sepinwall's negative assessment, however, he commended Julia Garner's performance as Ruth to be the series' highlight. Season 2. On Rotten Tomatoes, the second season has an approval rating of 76% based on 45 reviews, with an average rating of 6.6/10. The website's critics' consensus read, engaging and entertaining if not particularly challenging. Ozark's descent into darker waters is kept afloat by another superb turn from Laura Linney. On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 59 out of 100, based on 14 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Alison Foreman of Mashable said the female characters are not just emotional fodder for the male characters, stating Season 2 of Netflix's Ozark, however, champions female stories through all 10 of its episodes with an array of women that rivals the ensemble complexity of HBO's The Sopranos. Season 3. On Rotten Tomatoes, the third season has an approval rating of 98% based on 48 reviews, with an average rating of 8.2/10. The website's critics' consensus read, Ozark finally finds its footing in a third season that ramps up the tension and shines a brighter spotlight on Laura Linney's exceptional performance. On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 77 out of 100, based on 12 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. Season 4. On Rotten Tomatoes, the fourth season has an approval rating of 85% based on 56 reviews, with an average rating of 7.9/10. The website's critics' consensus read, Ozark hasn't gotten out clean just yet, but its mesmeric performances and taut suspense signal that the Byrd clan are as entertainingly resourceful as ever. Part 1. Part 2. Accolades.